Vreau să arătăm întâi fotografia. Domnul Simion împreună cu Richard Grenell. N-a reușit domnul Hurezeanu să se vadă cu... Hai să arătăm fotografia, vă rog. N-a reușit domnul Hurezeanu să se întâlnească cu domnul Grenell decât pe hol. A încercat să îi atragă atenția, a zis că părea interesat, dar până la urmă n-au mai reușit să aibă o discuție. Cum nici domnul Ponta nu s-a întâlnit cu domnul Grenell. Dar a discutat George Simion. Nu e doar o fotografie, o să o vedeți imediat și video care demonstrează că George Simion a vorbit cu Richard Grenell, însă în legătură directă cu noi de la Washington este președintele AUR, George Simion. Bună seara, domnule Simion!
Bună seara, gânduri bune tuturor celor de acasă. Vă salut, sunt bucuros că pot veni cu vești bune pentru poporul român care stă cu sufletul înfrigurat la propriu și la figurat și așteaptă vești despre ce se întâmplă cu lovitura de stat care ne-a dărâmat tot ce știam noi despre cum funcționează o democrație. Mă întreabă mulți oameni pe aici dacă trăim in a banana republic, dacă cumva vor ajunge în București o să fie arestați de către armată. Le spun că nu despre asta este vorba. Le spun că suntem o țară civilizată și că Deep State-ul, adică statul paralel la care faceți referire în emisiune, a dat o lovitură numai temporară democrației în România și că suntem un poligon de încercare pentru toată Europa. Și le spun că a venit cumva discursul lui J.D. Vance de la München, repetat acum 3 ore, ca un pansament pentru durerea pe care noi o avem în suflet, pentru loviturile pe care ne-au fost aplicate și pentru felul în care am fost ținuți efectiv în ceață, crezând niște propagandiști care astăzi vedem că au fost cumpărați să mintă românii și în timpul pandemiei și în ultimii 15-20 de ani. Cât de tare am fost mințiți și ce șarlatani ne-au condus.
Domnule Simion, vreau să vedem întâi momentul festiv de la SIPEC, de acolo de unde ați fost dumneavoastră, ca să se vadă foarte clar că ați participat, că după aia auzim că n-ați participat, că a fost un fake. Hai să vedem imaginile pe care le-ați și postat pe contul noastră de YouTube și după aceea o să vedem și discursul lui J.D. Vance și aș vrea să ne povestiți ce s-a întâmplat în acel moment. Hai să vedem imaginile de la momentul festiv de la SIPEC.
Dacă făceam noi așa ceva, ne acuzau că suntem fasciști. Uitați, înainte de discursul președintelui Vance, suntem cu Mateusz Morawiecki, President Official, and Carlo Fidanța, Vice President Official, and we are waiting for the speech of Vice President Vance, who gave us hope. America e altceva la nivel de iubire de țară, la nivel de respect pentru steag și pentru imn. Au făcut jurământ pentru steag și acum vor cânta imnul și vor spune o rugăciune.
By the dawn seated.
Domnule Simion, vreau să-mi spuneți în primul rând unde v-ați întâlnit cu Richard Grenell și ce ați vorbit cu el, pentru că am văzut din filmare, se vede că explicați probabil ce s-a întâmplat în România în legătură cu lovitura de stat.
Doamna Alexandrescu, în primul rând vreau să reiterez, imediat după ce se termină intervenția dumneavoastră, voi merge înapoi în sala principală de la CPAC, va veni și Elon Musk acolo și va ține un discurs la ora locală 16:20, acum este 14:15 aici, în Washington. Americanii fac un jurământ pentru steag, cântă împreună imnul și țin o rugăciune. Noi de la AUR avem aceeași chestiune și admirație pentru valorile naționale și pentru dragostea creștină și pentru Dumnezeu. Dacă am fi făcut aceste lucruri în țară, cum le-am făcut de multe ori, mulți, cum e și domnul Carp pe care l-ați menționat, ne-ar fi catalogat fasciști. Noi suntem la SIPEC în calitate de invitați speciali. Suntem respectați aici, nu a trebuit să plătim vreun bilet. Ieri a fost prima zi a SIPEC-ului, a fost secțiunea internațională și eu împreună cu colegul meu vicepreședinte care se ocupă de relații internaționale, domnul deputat Sorin Muncaciu, am fost așezați de Steve Bannon la aceeași masă cu președintele SIPEC și cu soția sa, cu Matt Schlapp și Mercedes Schlapp, cu Richard Grenell, pe care îl vedeți în imagini, și cu lideri importanți din Europa și din lume, Eduardo Bolsonaro, fiul fostului președinte brazilian Jair Bolsonaro, Nigel Farage, era de asemenea fosta ambasadoare a Statelor Unite în Danemarca, o apropiată a lui Donald Trump. Am făcut parte, să zic așa, din masa de onoare de la începutul SIPEC de ieri, la evenimentul internațional. Astăzi, împreună cu președintele Morawiecki, președintele meu de partid la nivel european și cu vicepreședintele Carlo Fidanța, la fel am fost așezați în primul rând. Suntem respectați ca români de către mișcarea conservatoare din Statele Unite și suntem respectați la nivel european. Richard Grenell sigur că știe, sigur că este dezamăgit de felul în care niște politruși de la noi au încercat să arate cu degetul către el pentru așa zise presiuni legate de alegeri, legate de repetarea turului 2 și legate de un proces corect pentru frații Tate. A fost etichetat, au încercat să-l denigreze. Richard Grenell este un om de încredere, între top 5 oameni de încredere a președintelui Trump, care rezolvă anumite cazuri speciale. Înainte de a se ocupa de dosarul legat de România, în această administrație Trump, Richard Grenell a fost în Venezuela, unde a adus acasă 6 cetățeni români americani, care erau reținuți acolo. Înainte a condus direcția de informații, comunitatea de informații din America, a fost ambasador în Germania și a rezolvat, a fost mediator pentru conflictul dintre kosovari și sârbi. E un om cu multă experiență și sperăm pe canale diplomatice uzuale să înțeleagă și actualii noștri conducători, de la domnul Bolojan la domnul Ciolacu, că trebuie să respecte democrația și trebuie să reia turul 2. Nu e nevoie ca oamenii să iasă în stradă, mai ales în zilele astea înfrigurate, nu e nevoie ca să facem atâtea demersuri interne și internaționale pentru o chestiune simplă. Domnul Enache să dea o erată împreună cu ceilalți așa zis judecători uzurpatori de la CCR și să revenim la îndeplinirea turului 2 de scrutin, așa cum este normal. Astăzi, joi, mâine, vineri și sâmbătă va fi și discursul lui Donald Trump, va fi cina Ronald Reagan, vom avea apariții la Fox News, la Newsmax și la War Room, la multe emisiuni de aici din Statele Unite. Vom explica pentru publicul din Statele Unite J.D. Vance. Ne auzim?
Acum da, acum da.
de ce invocă vicepreședintele J.D. Vance anularea alegerilor din România. Apropo, în momentul în care J.D. Vance a vorbit despre România, m-am ridicat și publicul a aplaudat în semn de solidaritate cu România. Repet, suntem respectați aici și lupta pe care americanii au dus-o pentru ca alegerile să fie corecte și Donald Trump să revină în scaunul de la Casa Albă trebuie replicată și în România, dar peste tot în bătrânul continent, în Europa, care în momentul acesta trebuie să evite să meargă spre prăpastie, spre dezastru și trebuie să schimbe conducătorii și guvernele. Am văzut președintele Macron, care nu se mai bucură de susținerea francezilor, cât de disperat este ca să blocheze cavalul MAGA să vină și în Europa sub forma de mega, și sunt sigur că oameni importanți, relevanți pentru administrația Trump și pentru noul regim de la Washington, cum este Elon Musk, vor face vizite și personale în România și unii care nu mai pot acum de frică sau care plâng, o să plângă și mai mult și o să stea închiși în case.
Știți că în timp ce erați la SIPEC, Cash Patel tocmai ce a fost confirmat definitiv șef la FBI, așa că va fi și mai distractiv ce va urma. Listele vor fi și mai mari și mai cuprinzătoare și cu mai multe.
Cash Patel este cel mai bun apropiat al lui Rick Grenell, l-a menționat și în discuțiile pe care le-am avut aseară. Au fost discuții mai mult informale, nu a fost un eveniment public, au fost circa 100 de persoane care au participat la discuțiile cu Rick Grenell și cu Steve Bannon.
Domnule Simion, vreau să arăt acum discursul lui J.D. Vance și apoi să ne spuneți ce s-a întâmplat în momentul în care a vorbit despre România.
Values if you're jailing people for saying we should close down our border. You don't have shared values if you cancel elections because you don't like the result, and that happened in Romania. You do not have shared values if you're so afraid of your own people that you silence them and shut them up. So let's have shared values. Let's defend democracy. Let's have free expression, not just in the United States, but all over the Western world. That is the path to strong alliances in Europe.
Erați în sală când a avut acest discurs. Ce s-a întâmplat, domnule Simion? Pentru că auzeam aplauze în sală.
Dar eram chiar în primul rând doamna Mercedes Lap, care l-a intervievat cumva, a făcut pe moderatorul acestei discuții, s-a uitat către mine când...
Am văzut că s-a întors, da.
S-a uitat către mine, lumea a aplaudat, un semn de solidaritate cu mișcarea pentru libertate din România. De fapt, președintele Donald Trump în primul lui mandat a ținut un discurs istoric la ONU, în care a vorbit despre faptul că nu poți fi liber dacă nu ești suveran, dacă nu ești independent, dacă nu iei propriile tale decizii și dacă alții decid pentru tine. Pentru România, din păcate, prea mult au decis alții. Este timpul să ne întoarcem la democrație. Să știți că am mai văzut grupuri de oameni care încercau să ajungă fie la Rick Grenell, fie la Marco Rubio, fie la Mike Johnson, la președintele Camerei Reprezentanților cu care am discutat la inaugurare în ianuarie și care a avut un discurs și la Arc Forum la Londra săptămâna aceasta. De exemplu, erau sud-coreenii care la fel se confruntă cu o lovitură de stat. Și România și Coreea de Sud reprezintă parteneri de încredere pentru
din România.
Casa Albă.
Mai este cineva prezent acolo, domnule Simion?
Undeva mai în spate, în zona de participanți care cumpără bilete, este și doamna Șoșoacă și mai sunt și români de rând care fac parte din Partidul Republican. În rest nu am mai văzut pe
Deci doamna Șoșoacă s-a dus pe bilete cumpărate. Da,
nu sunt scumpe. $30, $50-100 de dolari pentru a participa.
Știți de ce mă întrebam așa? Pentru că astăzi discutam cu Iosefina Pascal și constatam că cele 20 de ONG-uri care au reacționat împotriva Curții Constituționale când au interzis-o pe doamna Șoșoacă sunt soroșiste.
Da, e interesant. Pe mine m-ar bucura foarte mult ca doamna Șoșoacă să-și revină în simțuri și să renunțe la ideea de a candida pentru a nu fragmenta voturile suveraniștilor. Sâmbătă, mai mult ca sigur, se vor strânge semnăturile necesare pentru a avea o rezervă, pentru a avea o soluție, într-adevăr un plan B, ca domnul Călin Georgescu să candideze pentru datele de 4 și 18 mai, dacă nu-și revin în simțiri cei de la CCR și domnul Ciolacu nu-și dă demisia. Și ar fi bine să nu se fragmenteze aceste voturi. Din partea AUR, în ciuda faptului că și-au exprimat unii și alții această dorință, nu va candida nimeni. Avem un vot unanim pentru susținerea domnului Călin Georgescu și dacă domnul Ciolacu până pe 1 martie nu pleacă, va avea sute de mii de români în stradă pe 1 martie la venirea primăverii.
Domnule Simion, vreau să vă întreb ceva. Aseară, șeful Cancelariei Prezidențiale, Cristian Diaconescu, a făcut niște afirmații foarte grave la o altă televiziune, spunând că la negocierile dintre Statele Unite și Rusia, Statele Unite ar fi pus pe masa Rusiei România și că, vezi, Doamne, suntem în pragul unei Ialta 2. Ulterior, după ce am văzut aceste declarații, am solicitat să intre în direct ca să lămurească aceste declarații, pentru că lumea deja era îngrozită și dăduse apă la moară soroșiștilor care spuneau gata, România va fi împărțită, nenorocire, vin rușii peste noi. A intrat la mine în emisiune și a spus că de fapt s-a referit la un moment din 2022 cu niște cereri ale rușilor care au fost respinse de americani și atunci și acum, că nu se pune problema de așa ceva. Sunt niște afirmații extrem de grave, dar vreau să vă întreb, la Washington, cu cei cu care ați vorbit, s-a discutat despre așa ceva? Există o astfel de discuție? Există vreun astfel de pericol? Se își pune cineva problema în acești termeni? Pentru că eu am văzut că discuția care vine dinspre Washington este doar legată de pace. Poporul român este încurajat să-și recapete suveranitatea, să voteze liber, să-și ia în mâini soarta. În niciun caz așa ceva. Poate noastră fiind acolo ați văzut sau ați auzit lucrurile mai clar.
Eu am fost 3 ore în această discuție la care a participat și Rick Grenell și ne-a explicat informal cum funcționează lucrurile la nivel internațional. Văd o administrație Trump hotărâtă, văd o administrație Trump puternică care nu va ceda niciun metru în fața nimănui și asta înseamnă că nici în fața lui Putin nu va ceda, nici în fața lui Zelenski, care în continuare nu respectă minoritatea românească din Ucraina, dar nici în fața lui Macron sau Ursula von der Leyen. Eu știu și a reconfirmat Rick Grenell ieri că Donald Trump a cerut insistent ca să facem din NATO o organizație funcțională și să nu ajungem la genul ăsta de rupere a acordurilor, cum am văzut în ocuparea unor teritorii din Ucraina și să nu ajungem în situația de proliferare și de război efectiv. Ei bine, e cazul ca Donald Trump să își impună punctul de vedere cu respectarea actualelor tratate internaționale, pentru că va fi foarte greu să regândim o retrasare a zonelor de influență și o rescriere a tratatelor internaționale. Nu trebuie să ajungem la situația în care o țară să poată invada o altă țară și să poată cere teritorii. După al doilea război mondial, lucrurile au funcționat în actuala arhitectură de securitate și asta este și intenția administrației Trump. Cei care sunt alarmiști sau care vor să sperie oamenii că vom fi lăsați pradă Rusiei, nu sunt conectați, de fapt, la planurile administrației Trump.
Cum se vede de la Washington relația dintre America și Uniunea Europeană după ce zilele trecute la Paris Macron a organizat acea întâlnire de urgență?
Eu sper din suflet ca mișcarea MAGA, care a câștigat alegerile în Statele Unite, să se extindă peste tot în Europa. MEGA, Make Europe Great Again, peste tot. Avem alegeri duminică. Sunt și prieteni din AfD aici, Christine Anderson, cu care colaborăm din timpul pandemiei, europarlamentar. Sperăm la un scor cel puțin egal pentru forțele de dreapta din Germania, adică CDU să fie o poziție de egalitate cu AfD-ul și ponderea suveraniștilor și conservatorilor să crească și în Parlamentul german. Trebuie să vedem o arhitectură viitoare a Comisiei Europene care să fie dominată pe model american de guverne suveraniste la nivelul Consiliului European și o Comisie Europeană care să fie concentrată spre prosperitatea cetățenilor, nu pentru a ne nivela din punct de vedere cultural. Dacă nu, vom ajunge și noi să spunem la fel cum vedem aici că se practică în Statele Unite, defund EU institutions, alocăm prea mulți bani pentru niște birocrați care nu fac decât să se opună diversității. Ce înseamnă diversitate? Noi, românii, de exemplu, suntem un popor conservator. Să ne lase în legea noastră, să ne producem și noi unele chestiuni care pot fi competitive, să avem și noi industrie și să putem avea egalitate de șanse în interiorul unei Europe a națiunilor.
Vreți să întrebați ceva pe domnul Simion? Aveți vreo întrebare?
Da, vreau să întreb dacă s-a uitat bine după perdele, să nu apară Ponta de acolo. Și să ne trezim cu el.
Nu e la Disneyland, domnul Ponta. Am văzut Mickey Mouse acolo.
Da, pe domnul Muraru, Păduche 1, l-ați văzut?
Au fost niște reprezentanți din partea ambasadei, nu domnul Muraru, ne-au lăsat cartea de vizită, le-am răspuns la mesaj, destul de timizi, dar e bine că participă în sfârșit la SIPEC. La ultimele ediții nu văzusem să fie vreo participare din partea ambasadei României, acum a venit un funcționar, e foarte bine, e un început.
Veți fi sâmbătă la evenimentul din Piața Constituției?
Nu, sâmbătă voi fi la discursul lui Donald Trump, însă colegii mei vor organiza, avem 100 de măsuțe pentru buna coordonare a strângerii de semnături, fiecare măsuță cu voluntari, cu tot ce trebuie ca să putem trage o linie la sfârșitul zilei de sâmbătă 22 februarie și să vedem că am strâns în timp record minim 200.000 de semnături necesare pentru candidatura domnului Călin Georgescu.
Râde domnul Ciolacu de opoziție, spune că și noaptea să mă trezească nu va trece nicio moțiune, zice domnul Ciolacu.
Am înțeles că de când am plecat din țară s-au mai găsit încă 2 avioane private cu care a zburat domnul Ciolacu din banii păgubiților de la Nordis. Ce să-i spun domnului Ciolacu? Cine râde la urmă, râde mai bine, la fel cum a plecat tătuca lui Claus Iohannis, o să plece și el cu coada între picioare, că sunt 2 artizani importanți ai loviturii de stat din 6 decembrie. Unul este Claus Iohannis și altul este Marcel Ciolacu. Așa că așteptăm cât mai repede să plece Marcel Ciolacu. Dacă pleacă acum, probabil pedapsa nu va fi atât de dură pentru el.
Dar sunteți sigur că veți reuși să dați jos guvernul, domnule Simion?
Nu sunt sigur, lucrurile sunt în continuă mișcare, dar pentru mine nu este nicio miză să cadă guvernul în iunie, când deja vom avea un nou președinte pe Călin Georgescu. Miza este să cadă acum ca să putem avea, dacă vor avea loc alegeri repetate, să avem parte de alegeri libere și echidistante, pentru că dacă domnul Ciolacu este în fruntea guvernului împreună cu Toni Greblă, cu siguranță vor încerca să fraudeze alegerile.
Aș vrea să vă întreb ceva, când o să vă întoarceți, grupul parlamentar AUR o să-i ceară domnului Bolojan să vină în Parlament să vă dea explicații cu ce mandat s-a dus la discuțiile cu Emmanuel Macron, dânsul fiind președinte interimar.
Cred că s-a dus cu același mandat cu care Pavel Popescu de la ANCOM s-a dus la conferința de securitate de la München. Nu reprezintă...
Adică ăla de slugă, nu? De stat în genunchi.
Cum au învățat ei în acești ani, nu cred că domnul Bolojan reprezintă pe cineva din statul român și din poporul român în acest moment. Eu sunt sigur că se va face dreptate și vom avea conducători care să fie reprezentativi pentru poporul român. L-am chemat și pe domnul David să dea socoteală pentru încercarea de a scoate istoria românilor din curiculă. Colegii de la POT pe domnul Predoiu, nu s-a aprobat asta în birou permanent, este o relativă dictatură în Parlamentul român în momentul ăsta.
Păi se apără între ei, domnule Simion, e clar.
Se apără cu acei judecători de la CCR, dar noi pregătim de aici, din Statele Unite, multe surprize și la nivel intern și la nivel extern.
Domnul Pleșoianu dorește să vă pună o întrebare.
Da, bună seara. În primul rând, țin neapărat să vă felicit pentru faptul că ați rămas ferm pe poziții într-o apărare a democrației și în ceea ce privește susținerea lui Călin Georgescu și știu sigur că n-a fost
multe presiuni.
ușor. Exact.
Da,
știu sigur că n-a fost ușor.
Tocmai de aceea.
Și mai vreau să punctez ceva. Domnule Simion, cum, domne, v-au primit acolo la cel mai înalt nivel în America, deși sunteți soroșist, cum spun cei de la România TV, domnul Ciutacu și ceilalți?
N-am fost niciodată soroșist.
Mai spuneți o dată ca să se audă. Că ăștia nu
cei care răspundeau la comenzile și lui Soros și a CIA-ului erau exact patronii România TV, care stau beți de dimineață până seara pe la Belgrad, fugiți din țară. Și sunt convins că, la fel cum George Soros și toată așa zisa fundație pentru o societate deschisă au suferit o înfrângere rușinoasă în Statele Unite, la fel vor fi înfrânți și în Europa. Avem aliați de seamă, nu suntem slugi, suntem parteneri în această lume suveranistă, conservatoare și eu vreau să vă felicit pentru pozițiile constante de 15 ani pe care le aveți în scena publică românească. Mulți nu vă credeau acum 10 ani când vorbeați de la tribuna Parlamentului de influența acestor agenți ai globalizării.
Da, acum din fericire e fereastra asta deschisă pentru că, vedeți, exact de acolo, din America, trebuia să vină acest curent. Altfel, oricât am încercat noi aici, era greu.
Da. Sigur. Mulțumesc foarte mult, domnule Simion, pentru intervenție. Vă doresc succes în continuare. Așteptăm veștile de acolo și de la discursul lui Elon Musk. Eu să știți că o să mă duc sâmbătă în Piața Constituției. O să fiu acolo alături de români.
Toți membrii și simpatizanții AUR să facă la fel. Și vineri în Piața Victoriei.
O să arăt în seara asta, domnule Simion, pentru că sunt o grămadă de voluntari sau membri ai Partidului AUR care au postat pe TikTok imagini cu oamenii care stau la coadă să semneze pe listele de semnături pentru Călin Georgescu. Mulțumesc foarte mult pentru intervenție. Luăm pauză de publicitate și după pauză o să vă arăt interviul pe care aseară Călin Georgescu l-a acordat celor de la Newsmax, dar o să facem și o trecere în revistă cum s-a schimbat lumea într-o singură lună de la venirea lui Donald Trump. Aseară îmi scria cineva că nici n-a visat acum 2 luni de zile că se pot schimba atât de multe într-un timp atât de scurt. Cei care astăzi spun că și-au pierdut orice speranță nu înțeleg ce trăim astăzi, istoria pe care o trăim. Credeți-mă, nu mai e mult, trebuie să rezistăm și să fim uniți. Ne întoarcem pe pauza de publicitate să vedeți ultimele noutăți, pentru că aveți ce să vedeți. Ne întoarcem.
I think was voluntary basis, everything. Zero budget.
That's crazy. Like, it just keeps, the more I find out, the more I learn about this, the more I realize how.
And in a way, was very clever, if you allow me, because I convinced the Romanian people to fight for their dignity, not for the money. And with this, the system was changed.
And your campaign manager's office or house was raided 2 days ago?
Yeah, raided by police. Yeah.
And even here in your friend's house, there were police at the door not long ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, and with this we clarified that this doesn't exist in democracy. It was absolutely a shock violence, which we find.
I know Romania. As I said earlier, I've been to Bucharest. I have a team in Bucharest and Cluj for one of my companies. And I've always...
What we know people. We, with this situation, we expose the corruption. You understand my point? So let me put very clear this. So they canceled the election, yeah? The second round of the election was canceled illegally and unconstitutionally. The second round on December 6th, correct? By chance, the situation was fast that nobody can understand how. We didn't realize for the moment because it was a shock, for everybody. But after that, I realized that it's quite fine because during the time after the December 6th, the corruption was exposed, and we arrived on the table a lot of things which we didn't believe before that can be possible.
It's similar with President Trump. When they started targeting President Trump, all it did was expose the law firm.
Everything was exposed like that. Exactly.
Well, here's to another level. I spoke to I even wrote it as a quote, one of my team members here in Romania before my interview with Simion. And he said, Mario, they've been telling us, he said the following, they've been telling us for 35 years we're living in democracy, but now we see everything is fake.
Yeah, exactly this I said. Exactly like that I said. So what, the corruption was exposed, correct? Everything was a fake. In fact, it was not anymore. It was nothing. Because otherwise you can realize that the democracy is running. So justice doesn't exist, police doesn't exist, the judges are puppets, we find. So it's absolutely, and you know, I can guarantee to you that is a moment for the people to understand, and this I shall do for sure, to depoliticize the justice system and the secret services. For sure, I shall do that, because the politically parties and the political in general is so deep involved in all the things, they destroy the country. So first, I wish to be the president of peace, exactly as I said many times. And second, thing which was made by Soros network was just against not only the democracy, which exposed to be catastrophe in this situation, but the culture, the tradition, everything related with what Romania has, as many other countries, valuable. So Soros and against Soros have to be out from this country, totally. Totally does mean totally. No discussion, no negotiation on this subject.
So the more I interview leaders across different countries in Europe, that seems to be a common theme of interference by the Soros Foundation. Can you tell me more in Romania? How does it work? How does someone like Soros or his foundation do this?
First of all, beside these things, which he was the first foreigner who arrived in Romania in 1990. But the most important is that he captured the civil society organizations, you know, and all the projects besides Soros Foundation for the open society, whatever is called it, but separate by it, all the network, all the NGOs, they were supported by his network with a very clear objective, how we can make a cancel culture. Exactly this was happened today.
So essentially anyone that rivals their values or their objectives, he canceled them, exactly, as they did with you.
So the point is that everything was in our tradition, the culture, the importance of our valuable nationalist things which we have, they were step by step destroyed. And everything was related with, of course, the West things, was related with exactly what they are looking for, you know, to change everything
based on their values.
Exactly, in order to destroy the culture. So now we, more or less, we lost the hegemony of our culture, which is absolutely clear, but not totally, in order to don't resist. Okay, but this was the most important point, again, the culture. And, of course, the education. Because it's the moment when you destroy the education in a country, you capture the country. All right? This is the most important point of the game. So the education was almost totally destroyed. There arrived different private schools, private universities, in general, the system, which was more or less quite very strong. I mean, all the young people and all the generation, which we had universities before, we had very strong values and very strong education in our professional teams. Romania was a country very well known outside, related with engineering things, with agriculture, with a lot of stuff. You know? And now it's not anymore.
I'm just trying to understand how things are right now. Like, it's still surreal for me that I'm interviewing a gentleman that should be the president of one of the biggest democracies in Europe. I think it's probably in the top 15 in terms of population size. And you said to me earlier, I'm not sure if it was on camera or off camera, that you do the interview here because of safety. There's not even an office for you. Your campaign manager's house was raided. This house here was almost raided.
Raided by police, yeah, and yeah.
And I'm sure you've been targeted by the police.
Permanently. Until the last weeks was absolutely permanent.
So can you tell me the efforts that are happening now? I just want people to understand what is happening behind the scenes. I think it's you know, some people still believe the election is going to happen in May.
Yeah, the system, yeah, this is another fraud, by the way. I mean, the new elections, in order to start with what you asked me for, it's another fraud even bigger than what's happened. Because new elections doesn't mean that we don't consider anymore your votes, even that was approved, even the first round, and we are doing the new election. Why? Why to the new elections? Because already we had a campaign. And by the way, they spent almost $300 million in the campaign. What's happened with this money? What you are doing with the money of the people? There are absolutely legitimate questions. But again, your question is related to the first one, in a sense that the system doesn't want to leave simply because they need the power. And their greed cannot be changed in their mind with nobody else. They cannot accept that the people to control them. And exactly this was in my campaign. The president is in a service of the people. I support the working class. I support the working families. I am of the people, by the people, for the people of Romania. And this was changed totally the system of the elections. And from below 1% in a evaluation, I arrived to 23, which even that was not the reality.
You think you should have been higher?
For sure, because we know the reality was almost 30, but it's not important that. Important is that I won the first round, and even the second round I won as well, with the Romanian people behind, because I said my party, I have no political party, I said my party are the Romanian people.
Can you go through the efforts that are ongoing right now to target you and those around you? So again, we're having this interview in your friend's house because you feel safe here.
Yeah.
Your campaign manager, as I mentioned 2 days ago, before I landed in Romania. So can you give us a better idea of what else is happening behind the scenes right now? What type of targeting is going on?
The target is how they have seen, the system have seen that I have a full support from the Romanian people. In fact, the percentage now is more than 80%. And of course, they want to intimidate everybody and to see we are.
Is this making it? I feel like they didn't learn anything from Trump. It's like the more they did to target Trump, the more people turn.
The percentage is higher.
Exactly,
higher,
they're doing him
higher.
a favor.
Exactly, they made. For this reason, I said that I have a budget zero, which even now
They're marketing campaign.
They are working for me.
Exactly.
That's my point.
They're doing your marketing.
Yeah, they are working for me. I mean, how more things they are doing, how bigger is the percentage? Because the people, they realize, if I have something was happened on the table. I have nothing. I'm absolutely clean. No evidence in all the things which.
Do you think there's a possibility they could frame you and then act on that framing? So they could fabricate something and then.
Of course, now they are in this position in order to fabricate something absolutely clear. But we are a people, Romanian people. We are Christian, and we strongly believe in our land and in God. So whatever they are doing, we know that the God is with us, so nobody can against us.
Elon had an interesting quote. He said, how can a judge cancel an election and not be considered a dictator?
It's the law, it's a tyranny right now. So it's a dictatorship. And it's a precedent, by the way, for any other country. For any other country in the world. What's happening in Romania. For me, the question mark is how is possible that no intervention, no position, official position from nobody, from European Union.
That's what's crazy. This is exactly put under the rug.
I don't say for others, but for Europe, it's very important. For us, speaking about the United States, our partnership, Mario, beside any other things, is freedom. Because United States construct the milestone basis for the democracy. And democracy was canceled by those guys. So the partnership, beside economical one, military one, NATO, whatever, is freedom. This United States have to understand today. Because if United States doesn't find a way to fight for freedom, who will fight for freedom?
Anyone listening to this, how?
This is a real partnership, which I'm looking for, with and only together with United States, which I said very clear is the main important partner, which we have, especially now with President Trump and Vance It's very important because all these ideas are the same. My program, food, water, and energy, you have seen the presentation of not only President Trump, but also of the Secretary of State Kennedy regarding the agriculture, regarding food for our children, in order to be not
to make America healthy again.
Exactly, make healthy America again. Exactly this I said about Romania. Make Romania healthy again, make safe again. How? With food, with water, with energy. Why I have to import the energy or other things instead to have here? So it's totally nonsense, you know. I mean, Romania right now, 90% of the food is imported, which is not only crazy, it's an attack, not only to democracy, it's a corruption, it's an attack to the economy, to import 90% of country, which can produce for all the Europe, everything.
Mr. Georgescu, that segment here, I don't know how anyone could listen to this and call you pro-Russian. You're sitting there talking about how the US fight for freedom is something they want to emulate here in Romania, and they call you a pro-Russian candidate. I just don't understand. Like, for any Romanian listening to this, there's no one that can believe it.
Okay, of course it's a fake, but you have seen also the situation with President Trump before. The same situation was pro-Russia. This was a Russian intervention. It's the same thing. There are small guys which they have nothing to.
I think the media is just dying. I know what
it's legacy media. It's in a position just to explore only this channel. Everything you are doing against the system, you are pro-Russian.
But obviously, based on the poll numbers, even before the casting of the election, people are waking up.
In the moment when you are fighting for the democracy, for the freedom, you are a pariah. And the pariah does mean that you are pro-Russian. I am first of all pro-Romanian. And because you are pro-Romanian, you are pariah. You are immediately you are pro-Russian.
And any pariahs labeled as pro-Russia.
Exactly, this is the point.
And in 2016, we saw the entire media conglomerate target Trump. And then we're seeing the same thing here in Romania.
Yeah, it's absolutely the same situation which we face today.
And they always like to use the word disinformation. That's like the code word.
Exactly.
Anything we don't like.
In the moment when you don't like this, they are starting the disinformation.
Yeah. Whenever I hear the word disinformation, I just get chills now. I know what it means.
Yeah. It's exactly the same story.
The question I have for you is, I wanted to ask you earlier, is who decides those things? So you have 9 judges and constitutional judges. Who calls them? Who messages them and says, I want you to do this?
The politicians, the Secret Service politicians, I said that I'm totally devoted to depoliticize justice system and the secret services as well. So are only the politicians, exactly as I said to you, and also this Soros network. Soros again, it's
that much influence. Do you think Soros network came up? They could have. Like, who comes up with the idea? Let's cancel an election. Like, I'm sure there's somebody who's like, all right, what can we do to make sure Georgescu is not president? Let's cancel the election. Who do you think has those conversations behind the scenes?
So first of all, was the as I said, was the international intervention, Blinken European Union, related with the former president and the Secret Services here, and they decide to go to the court and to decide.
So you think the US might have played a role? Is it so? Who would you point the finger more
at? You have to understand that. Well, I cannot say because I have no disinformation, but for sure, which is already public, as we spoke already, Blinken made an intervention.
Very public about it as well.
Because there are a huge interest. We are talking about money here. We are talking about power. So they don't want to lose this power.
And when you mentioned a few times how the European...
Because I said the power, this was I said in my campaign, the power is for people. And I said very clearly, myself as president, I serve my nation. I am the employee of my people, not vice versa, which is today. So this does mean the real democracy. And I find that this also in my first stage, which I made in 1992, 93 in the United States. And I find the goals of Thomas Jefferson, and in fact the father of the democracy in the United States, which said this. I mean, this is very important for the people to understand. Of course, the corruption was exposed these days, but we have to fight for our democracy. And we find also that with this situation which is today, I'm looking forward for this real partnership with the United States, with President Trump and Vice President Vance, and to understand that we are here, first of all, as a country and a very well located. It's a very rich country with a Black Sea, which is a fantastic value, which in this area with a lot of resources. I find, I have seen, of course, different stories and relationship with Hungary, with all the respect. Romania is 100 times much rich than Hungary beside the position. And I'm looking for a real partnership. In a sense, the east flank, exactly like this in the area of Israel, the relationship with Israel, the same. I'm looking at the same situation, but for the east flank in Europe. So I'm looking for a very strong and valuable position with our partner in the United States, in a very decent and very democratic point. The most important is to have the respect for each other, but before to have that, you have to respect your people. And this I'm looking for. For this reason, we are fighting. We know very well that we shall win, and all these guys, already they lost. They don't know yet, but they'll fight.
I think it's a very good point. I think they already lost. And just want to remind anyone listening that just what you're saying is like the complete opposite of what anyone that's pro-Russia would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, I smile when they have this criticize addressed to me, because first of all, I know the truth, and the truth is like the oil in the water. I mean,
the truth always wins.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot.
Why are people not on the streets right now? Do you think, like, I don't think people in Romania will remain quiet.
No, they are permanently. I'm telling you. I mean, it's very soon will be another. The people, they are coming again. Permanently, they were on the street. Permanently, non-stop. I mean, it's like a volcano. I mean, the people, they realize that this is a moment, and they don't give up. We don't give up. And we know very well, even it looks now harder or very complicated situation, I'm sure about that the situation will be changed, and we shall win. We are the winner. We are the winner already. The Romanian people is the winner. It's a fantastic, it's a great people, and I'm looking for Romania to be great again, to be beautiful, to be an harmony here, and all the people, they are looking for that. We are looking for the change the system, not the people, the system, not the people.
I always look at that as well. It's very systemic, the corruption and misaligned incentives. Your friend, I was speaking to your friend earlier, and he said that their strategy right now is to the same 9 judges determine who can run for president.
Yeah.
So is it true that their strategy right now is to try to prevent you from running for president? Is that what they're trying to do? And they're trying to either find information or frame something to be able to use it to prevent you from running for?
Yes, they're looking for that. We are aware about that, but no chance.
I don't think. And he said to me, if that happens, that will be the spark where just Romania will go. He said, I'm going to paraphrase, like everyone would just go on the streets, I assume.
Yeah, it is a situation like this. So for this reason, I'm sure that we have to find the best way in order to not happen such as things, because for sure the people, they cannot resist anymore if something will happen in this election. They are aware also about that, I'm telling you. The most important point is that we have the victory in our mind, in our heart.
People already consider you president.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a quote by Thierry Breton, who's the ex-commissioner, ex-EU commissioner, who said the exact quote, "What was done in Romania may be needed in Germany." That's scary.
Yeah, if we are looking what is going on now in Germany, we can see that there are a lot of interventions. But you know what? European Union is in a very complicated situation right now. And the leadership made by United States now, with a new administration led by President Trump and Vance, demonstrate that we shall come back to the real democracy. So I'm totally devoted and convinced about this.
We're seeing a change here in Europe. Like I've spoken to a lot of people from the Make Europe Great Again.
Exactly, and don't forget all these a big shift, in fact, already in the United States immediately. You know, talking about the Kennedy file. You know, talking about washing money, talking about COVID situations. All these stuff, those things, they are starting already.
Yeah, exactly. They want to investigate all these.
To investigate all these three things. So already they are starting things which in fact arrive to the deep state. Exactly, the deep state cancel the elections here in Romania. So exactly this time we are talking also here.
So this is unelected. How would you could describe deep state? Would you say that unelected officials that make? No, I think I was in Ukraine. I was doing a lot of research into the war in Ukraine, and there's one thing that Putin said long time ago when he wanted to join NATO. He said, "I meet every single president in the U.S., but at the end of the day, men in dark suits come and make the decisions. So the president doesn't make any decision." And so that was his way of describing the deep state. How would you describe the deep state?
You know, no more lives should be lost related with the situation in Ukraine and related with the deep state, because deep state control this. Deep state, they are not the globalists. Deep state are the oligarchs. This I can describe, the deep state, which in fact made a lot of problems, even the war, because everything is related to its financial system. The head of the snake is the financial banking system. And here we are. In the moment when President Trump changed and announced that will change the financial system, immediately the deep state was failing. And this will happen everywhere, including in Europe. They don't realize that all these things will be changed, but they realize very soon.
We've seen that already with Peter Hegseth, and he's in Poland right now. He landed yesterday.
Absolutely.
And he's already made it very clear, for example, what everyone is thinking about 2014 borders for Ukraine. It's not realistic to imagine those borders again for Ukraine. But no one would say that everyone's too scared. He says that as it is.
It is. So exactly this will happen soon also in Romania. But again, they cannot realize that after so many years, something will happen in...
When it happens to them, no one's expecting
in 1
it.
minute, exactly.
But my question, the reason I mentioned what Thierry Breton said is, are we seeing like a new strategy emerge now? Where if you like with you, they didn't even launch an investigation. They was like, hey, we'll cancel the election and then launch an investigation, which is like another level from Trump. We'll investigate him. He's president, but we're going to investigate him. With you, no. We're not the president. Now let's investigate. But what worries me is that, do you think that this is becoming more of a kind of a sandbox for a test for what can be done to other countries in Europe or even outside of?
I told you it could be a precedent. Of course, from my side, I definitely hope to not believe these things, but you have to realize that they are disparates. And because they are disparates, they are trying to do everything is possible in order to maintain their position. So again, it's absolutely similar. In fact, it's copy-paste what's happened in the United States with President Trump. We remember also about all the things. More or less, of course, it's another proportion. This is absolutely clear. But in fact, it's a copy-paste which is happening in Romania in different scale. This is absolutely...
And the outcome is likely going to be copy-paste.
Absolutely. So for this reason, I'm waiting and we are waiting. But meantime, we keep our position. We don't give up. We are absolutely sure that we shall win. We trust in our power, in our heart. We trust and we believe in our land, as I said, and in God. So nothing will change.
I have a whole list of points to go through the evidence, or what they call as evidence of election interference by Russia. But I find it to be very honest. I've gone through it in my interview with Simion. Mr. Simion about 2 months ago now, when it happened in December. And I don't think it's even worth discussing. That's how petty it is. Like, you have a bunch of TikTok accounts that are backing you, which is not that many, it's 25,000 of them. And 130 TikTok accounts generated 1,000 to 500,000 views per video, but there's nothing that shows anything to do with Russian interference whatsoever, or any Russian payments, zero.
Let me tell you how I ran this. I made with few friends some pictures. First of all, I remain in the end 3 or 4, like of course, let's say, which we consider very good. I put on my network, YouTube and social media, yeah. And I said to the people, use how you want, do what you want, we shall win. This is all which I made. This was all the campaign. And of course, I present permanently my program, food, water, and energy. And I said, what we are doing for our life, what we are doing for our families, what we are doing for our land. We have to foster our economy internal. We have to export, not to import. We have to keep the balance.
Common sense.
Exactly. All the things which in fact is absolutely normal in a country which Mario wished to be independent, to be free. For this reason I said our partnership, this time in my mind and in my soul, the partnership with the United States is about freedom, not about other things. From freedom, there are coming the rest of the things. This was my presentation to the Romanian people. And I won with this. Very simple. They asked me in the beginning, the first weeks, how we are doing. I said, how you want? You are free. In the moment when I said to the people, you are free, do what you want, immediately they find a way. I mean, it was not someone who dictated, go to the left and go to the right. Understand my point? I said, go how you want.
These are the values I stand for.
So the freedom exactly give to them the energy in order to run the campaign alone. Exactly, this was the reality.
So this is the definition of a grassroots movement.
Total.
So what's your strategy now? Obviously, I think one important part is getting the message across to the world.
In this moment, I recognize that I arrived to be to lead this fighting for the democracy. But in the meantime, of course, the strategy is to be on the law and to keep the Constitutional Act to be inside permanently. I keep all the time this situation. Of course, I was also in the street. The people are in the street, but permanently I insist to them to follow the law. I strongly believe that in one moment this will happen. Of course, I, with my lawyers, we conduct the channels for the justice system to Strasbourg, to Luxembourg, to Hague, also to Venice court. By the way, the judges of Venice court, they are also in Romania today. So of course we continue all these things, and nevertheless that we are looking for a support even from Europe or from the United States in order to arrive to the democracy.
From the European Union, that's for sure.
Absolutely, from European Union, but could it be for different countries? For this reason I said, which for sure they can realize the situation.
Have you heard much from Hungary, from Italy, from Bologna?
Well, small things arrive, even from Bratislava. We had something, but slowly. We, of course, we are totally devoted in what we trust in our country. Of course, we trust in our value. We trust in what we are doing. We are free. We trust in what we made so far. So, of course, we are waiting, but normally we have to consider that this, let's say, quiet situation until now from the West countries is not quite good.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but I also feel like it will change.
Will change, exactly. I'm sure about that. Yes, but I'm sure also that President Trump will intervene very soon, and I'm totally convinced that we shall have good days very soon.
Do you worry about that they could take it up another level as well? What I mean by this is, do you worry? But I'm interviewing Prime Minister Fico tomorrow, who was stabbed. I've interviewed President Bolsonaro before, who was shot or stabbed as well. And I've interviewed Imran Khan, who's in jail right now. Do you worry that you could be in jail, you could be harmed in some way?
Look, it's a price for freedom. And I'm totally convinced that whatever price will be is for the future, is for the people, is for our history. And I'm totally convinced that whatever will be is for a very credible future for us.
You have security?
Of course, I have a few people totally devoted, and beside that, I have the country and I have God.
I want to go to what happens next. So we've got the elections in May. From now to May is 3 months, long time.
Yes, but we don't consider that.
So essentially what you're saying is that the elections are done.
It's done.
But then how can you fight back? Well, obviously getting some foreigners.
We are prepared for everything. Yeah, no problem. We are prepared. But new elections, there's been another fraud even bigger than what's happened.
They'll have more time to prepare.
Exactly. We are fighting for the second round, and here we are right now. But again, we are prepared for any situation.
I want to talk quickly about a movement we're seeing in Europe. Something else George Simion is playing a key role leading that movement is the Make Europe Great Again. We're starting to see a grassroots movement, using the word grassroots, an organic movement by, I don't want to call them conservatives, but those that oppose the centralization of power that we're seeing in the European Parliament. Can you tell me more about just a general sense we're seeing across Europe after Trump's win in the US? And also one other thing I noticed is that movement is also very fractured. Like I would expect a lot of them to come rallying in your support, but I don't know why I feel that Trump's done a great job rallying all that support and all these mostly conservatives, but also a lot of liberals. And RFK was a liberal, Tulsi was a liberal, Elon was a liberal. So anti-establishment, those against the system. And he rallied them, behind him, and Elon did a great job, but also kind of getting a lot of support behind them. Why don't we have that in Europe? So I want to get your comments on the Make Europe Great Again movement and the whole sense in Europe after Trump's win, and also why it's so fractured.
Look, President Trump launched a very important principle. Take care about your country. Let's make business, but fair. Fair does mean fair, not with political intervention. This is very easy, okay, as principle. And of course, he put into practice this, and of course, start the investigation, all the things which already discussed. For European Union, it's a very complicated situation because they know very well what they did so far. And honestly speaking, after so many years, we have to look at the results. This is a very important point, exactly as you are looking for the fruits. They are sweet or not, which does mean I can take care, I took the fruits or not. I mean, it's important how we are related with the results. And the results of European Union, in the moment where we are talking about that, it's a very complicated situation because we cannot see so many results. Also, we have in mind what's happened with Germany. How is the situation of Germany today? It's definitely the engine of the European Union, and it's not anymore. The situation of economy in Germany is absolutely a disaster. And look the situation of France. How many governments they failed already with Macron. The situation is disparate in general in Europe, and it's not any possibility to see a help from European Union, which even European Union itself is in a very complicated situation. So for this reason, our program and this situation which you present already, it's very frustrated to see that it's difficult because the Europe, first of all, has not energy anymore. You can see very well how is the situation. For this reason that we have the situation in Germany. They have not any more energy.
There's complete stagnation.
Exactly. So my program was food, water, and energy in order to produce ourselves. We discuss about to produce ourselves the economy, to foster our internal economy. So exactly as President Trump said, to be a nation in Europe, not to be a Europe. Yes, we are in Europe, absolutely clear. It's fine to be in the European Union. It's fine to be in NATO. But first of all, let's take care about our country first.
What's fascinating is that a lot of countries that should be alarmed, a lot of leaders that should be alarmed,
they are very alarmed.
I mean, some of them are alarmed, but also what we're seeing is that a lot of them are like the logical ones, like Milei and others, like, even your friend, the former Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz, he said, like, that's normal. Like, I respect that. He's doing for his country what I should be doing for my country, what you should be doing for your country. Everyone should do it for their country and find, as you said, a fair place to meet in the middle.
Exactly. And to find a common understanding and common sense for everybody in order to cooperate. but in the moment when your country is quite very strong indeed. Exactly as I told you about Romania, in the moment when I said that 90% of the food is imported, which is not... it's crazy.
I was speaking to my partner just as I landed. Again, I know Romania really well, and I'm telling him, like, you know what's fascinating about Romania? It's such a big country, such a beautiful country, and a lot of talent. It's a very, very talented country. That's why I have a big team here, as I said earlier. But it's just fascinating that, I was in the airport, and I can, compare the Romanian airport to an airport, and we have a country where the country has so much potential, so many minerals, whatever, but this system is, whether it's corrupt or corrupt is probably the best term, but it's just flawed in some way, and it hurts the country so much. Romania has so much potential, Mr. Georgescu. So I hope you kind of show that potential to the world once you become president.
This I present to the Romanian people, and I present also for foreigners, in a sense, to have a decent and normal cooperation, but first of all to take care first about our people. In the moment when Romania, exactly as you said before, 20% of the people are under the level of poverty, which has been under the $2 per day. 20%.
That's crazy.
Even that was 1.
20%. It's 1 in 5 people.
In the moment when you stay on your chair as president, you have to see the last one. It doesn't mean you have to take care totally about your people day and night.
Another thing I've noticed with a lot of the former Soviet countries is a lot of inefficiencies. Another thing I've noticed with a lot of the former Soviet countries is a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape. Do you think something like Doge, and I know Prime Minister Fico mentioned that he wants Doge in Slovakia, and that's one thing I'll talk to him about it tomorrow. But do you think something like Doge, whether it's Doge or any other organization, but someone like Elon just comes in like a bulldozer?
Exactly
and
as Elon said about an efficient department, that this I'm looking for, in a sense, to reduce the bureaucracy and to reduce totally that in order to be more efficient. Otherwise, how? In order to leave the private producers to be free, the small entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs, Romanian entrepreneurs, to be free.
So intelligent. There's so much potential.
And in order to be not thousands, millions of entrepreneurs to be. And after that, of course, the situation is totally different. In the moment when you have so huge and heavy effect bureaucracy, there are more than 1,300,000. For what? We have to produce food, we have to produce energy, we have to produce everything we can produce in Romania, but not to live in a situation that we are totally related with the import, which this government, and in fact the last governments from the last 35 years, they did so far. In the moment when you change, in 35 years, you have already 34 ministers of education. You can understand.
Say that numbers again. You said 34?
34.
In 35 years?
Yeah, 35 years. This does mean that you have a problem, because in the end of our conversation, I can tell you the richness of my country are the people and the education. The rest of the things are somewhere. We can work with other things, but the beautiful and the richness are the people and the education. So everything which I will have, I shall invest in young generation, in the spirit of education, in order to be free. The freedom, exactly as I said in the beginning, as partnership with the United States, this is a milestone basis for the future. Whatever things we shall do next, in economy, industry, whatever will be. But first of all, the freedom. If you have freedom, exactly how was the campaign? The people, they can think free, they can smile, they can dance, they can be their self. In fact, this is the most important value, to be yourself, not to be someone to say what you have to be. My program is to the consciousness, to invest in the consciousness of the people to be their self, and to not accept the someone to say them who you have to be.
My last question to you, sir, is we talked about Elon and Doge. Elon's also been very vocal about the corruption we're seeing in Romania. and the inefficiencies we're seeing with the European Union and the centralization of power. As I said, he even was critical of, he considered the president a dictator when the election was cancelled. He's very vocal about it. He's vocal about what we're seeing in Germany. And, a lot of people in Europe are getting galvanized by Elon's words because of his massive reach. So what would be your message, not only to Elon and Trump, but to the rest of the American public? And I'm using America here as an example because it is the biggest democracy in the world.
So first of all, I know that President Trump is looking for Nobel Prize for peace. I am the president of peace as well. So the message is, if we have peace, we have everything. Because this planet can give to us everything, can cover everything we are looking for, but for sure cannot cover our greed. So if we have peace, we can have all the possibilities of business, all the possibilities of freedom, everything which we need. So the message is, come back to the roots of the humanity. Otherwise, we are losing the humanity from us. This is my message.
Also, thank you so much for this interview, for this discussion. And
thank you for having me.
And hopefully today we know with Chat speaking from the safety of your friend's house, and next time we'll be speaking from the safety of the parliament.
Definitely. Thanks a lot.